Okay, I had forgotten to mention a couple other things. So this is an addendum to the first video. And so first of all, so there's two kind of major things I want to discuss here. First of all, notice, let's say that we went through this loop 10 times. So count plus made it to count to be 10. And of course 10 is less than or equal to 10. And so it went through the loop again and did all these things here. And then so it'll say the candy after 10 houses is so much. Let's say, I don't know, 64. I don't know. And so now notice at this point that the problem has been solved. The problem that the video or the program is trying to solve is how much candy do you have after the first 10 houses. And so this is actually answers that question, problem solved. Candy after 10 houses is 64, whatever. All right, so then we go in the back door again, and then we got to do the count plus. And this is an important step. You need to go to this memory location and actually write your 11 in there. And some students don't do that. But the purpose of that 11 is because now when we put 11 in the count here in the test, 11 is not less than or equal to 10, so that makes the Boolean expression false, and that's what stops the loop. And then the compiler will go past the loop and continue on with the program if there is more to do. And that's why if this line of code was outside of the loop, let's say you didn't have this here, then what's going to happen is it's going to say that the candy after house 10, see, house will be 10, it doesn't change, because after count becomes 11, it doesn't go through the loop anymore. It'll have the exact amount that you need to have, so that's going to work. And so, anyways, that's the idea there. The other key thing here is that you can, by the way, now I like to teach where you actually have a specific variable, in this case the counter variable, that's controlling how many times to the loop. But some students are going to get the big idea and they're going to realize, oh, you know what I could do? I could say num of house. Okay, I could go num of house and have that be the counter. Because after it reaches 10, we want to stop the loop. The reason why I don't like to do that is because there's some more tricks, and I'm not going to go through this, but there are some things that can happen where you will end up having the wrong amount. So let's say that we put this line of code out here, and let's say you say num of house instead of count, and so you have num of house plus, and all that, and of course you wouldn't need this part here. So, but you use num of house on each of these places. You got to be careful, because if we did it just like this, and let's say this was num of house, all right, notice that it reaches 11 before it stops the loop. And if this is on the outside, it's going to say candy after 11 houses. So that can be problematic. I'm just going to leave you with that. Some of you will be able to figure out, well, what you would do in that case. There's a couple of different options of dealing with that. So I'm begging you, please, especially if you're struggling with counting, please, not counting, if you're struggling with coding, please have a separate variable where only this variable's only purpose is to control the loop. And so that's the only purpose of this. It doesn't do anything else. And that way, all the other variables are pertinent to what you're trying to do in the program and display and things like that. So please, do this unless you really think you can handle using a variable that has a dual purpose. If you use this like I was mentioning earlier, you could use this to keep track of the number of houses and to control the loop. But I'm not encouraging that unless you really think that you can do it and make it work right. You really have to test your program. All right, so that is it for this variable.